Everyone, welcome back. Dr. Obam Bowen here. And it is still 2021, the year of the one thing, which means I'm still here sharing, giving you some love on my one thing this year, which is growth. I choose growth this year as my one thing. And remember that my working definition of growth is this, that growth is that thing that you do consistently to get out of your current comfort zone. Whatever you're doing in life, or especially in business, that is keeping you comfortable or from growing, you must do. Hey, Bryn, welcome. Good to see you, sis. So let's jump into today's topic, which is just a continuation a little bit from what I talked about yesterday, right? And I wanted to make sure that I was completely open, transparent, and vulnerable with some of you. But today we're going to talk about basically how to avoid that failure when it comes to the psychological barriers at times to really hold entrepreneurs, that hold them down. So today, post yesterday, I'm in Miami enjoying, this is what I wanted. Warmer weather, right? That'll take my mind into a whole different place. And when you're in that different place, emotionally, physically, spiritually, sometimes, you're able to produce different results. So one of the first things I want to talk about, failure is really defining what failure is for you and not taking on really the identity of other people's definition of failure for you. See, for me, as an example, what most folks call failure, I call lessons. If you pay attention to the thing that you didn't get the intended result, which most would probably call success, because in order to have success, I teach a lot that, some things in life and business, it has to suck before you have the success, which is the abundance. So I look at the lessons. What did I learn from that experience? What did I learn from that business? What did I learn from that relationship? My first marriage, what did I learn when what you would call or consider failure was that my, lack of a better word, my shit stinks too. And regardless of whatever happened, I had some wrongs. Thank you so much for the love and appreciate it. I had some wrongs. I'm not perfect. And regardless of the other person's actions, I needed to take responsibility for the end result. It's one of the reasons why I share a lot and come up and say, don't complain for what you allow. Hi, Juliana, welcome. Good to see you. Also, if these videos are giving you value, just type 1 in and, tag someone so they can have some value too. But continue on. I learned that I wasn't perfect. I can strive for perfection. I can strive for excellence, but I don't define my lessons by someone else's definition of failure. I haven't failed. Thomas Edison said when they interviewed him that he didn't fail over 2,000 times. Thank you so much, Juliana. Hey, happy Stan. Good to see you, brother. Welcome. Right? He didn't fail more than 2,000 times. He found 2,000 ways not to make a light bulb. Right? So in businesses, I've built 37 business personally. I've partnered with over 70 individuals in other businesses. You're so welcome, Juliana. Right? So I've built over 37 different businesses successfully. For me, I've learned from those. Now, there's almost 80 that you would call failures, but I had 80 lessons to build those 30 successfully. My first 2 years in network marketing, I sucked. I literally did. I was the guy who talked and threw up and vomited on people because I'm very excited when I start something. And just like anyone else, I vomited instead of giving value. I was focused more on my goals rather than finding out how I can help that person get to theirs. And when I learned that, my average recruiting numbers went from basically next to nothing, or 1 a month or a quarter, 4 or 5 a year, into 5 to 7, 9, sometimes 12 a month. It all depends. Right? Because I was giving more value. What lessons are you learning and how to avoid it? The first step in avoiding failure is for you to define what failure is. If you're looking and taking other people's definition of what life should be like for you, then you're living from someone else's dreams, someone else's thoughts, and someone else's goals. Your life's definition comes from you. So the only way you can grow, because my one thing this year is growth, is you have to choose to growth, and you have to choose and define what growth looks like for you. You have to define what failure is for you. So for me, I've never failed at anything that I didn't get the end results, which would be a successful end result. I learned from the lesson, I adapt, I overcame from the situation, I took the lessons, and then I move forward. This is the reason why I'm always building businesses. This is the reason why I chose to build the underdog brand, because I've been that underdog 80 plus times when I just got the lessons where some would consider those failures. But because I choose to live in a space that is defined by my definitions for success and is defined by my boundaries, I'm being emotionally responsible for my growth. And that's very, very powerful. If you don't understand what emotional responsibility is, here's a lesson of one of them. Being here in Miami, Florida right now in this beautiful, amazing pool and this amazing weather instead of being in cold Georgia, I talked yesterday about the depression that I could fall into. So being emotionally responsible is taking the onus on just picking my family up, which, by the way, they're over there, right? Picking my family up, and there's my wife actually about to jump on a webinar right now, building one of our businesses, right? To be emotionally responsible for putting them into the space that is better going to help their mental space, more so my mental space. Because I'm responsible for being a good husband. I'm responsible for being a good businessman. So I have to be emotionally responsible for that. So if there's anything you get out of today's lesson, is two things. One, the greatest way to avoid failure is to define what failure is for you. So if for me, here's how I define failure: quitting. If I never quit, I'm not failing. However, if I learn from those mistakes or those lessons, then I'm progressing, then I'm successful. If I run the race and I had a time that I wanted to finish at, like, okay, so I want to finish the marathon in 4 hours, let's say, but I finished in 6 hours. If I did my absolute best, I did not fail. I finished, I succeeded. I didn't come in with the time I wanted. Yes, I'm disappointed, which means I can do better. Shane, how are you? Good to see you, brother. So just remember that if you don't choose growth, you live a life of comfort, and comfort leads to apathy. What is apathy? Apathy is a natural human instinct. It's common to us all, and it consistently forces us to seek a comfort zone where nothing ever changes. Don't be comfortable. Don't live a life of apathy. Choose to grow. This is Dr. Obam saying, lastly to you there today, if this has made sense or brought some value to you, type 1 in the comments, share this with a friend, tag someone else who needs this message. Be a giver. Whatever you give, the world gives back to you tenfold. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video to help you build your life and your business and help it grow. Bye for now.